Hello, my little naughties. Welcome to Goya Tales with me, Roshni. So today I am going to tell you a story as part of Mayaakatha's Healing Story Month. Okay, so this entire month of June, they are coming up with a lot of stories around the theme healing, and so I'm going to tell you a story on that as well. If you are watching this, then please do be sure to check Mayaakatha's YouTube channel, because this entire month they have been coming up with a lot of stories on healing, and I think it's really apt for the time that we live in right now. Correct? So coming back to healing, what is healing? Like, when do you need healing? When you feel hurt, when you feel wounded, when you are in pain. That's when we need healing, right? So healing is nothing but making the pain go away, to get back your strength and to recover from something, right? So there are two types of wounds. So we can have wounds outside and we can have wounds inside. Like when you're playing with your friends, when you're practicing, like, riding a new bike or doing all these other things. So you fall down, you hit somewhere and you get wounded, right? So you get hurt. So those are wounds that are on outside. And like with time, after some time they heal automatically, they heal on their own. Or sometimes you try to apply some medicine or something to make it heal better and faster, right? So similarly, sometimes we get wounded and we get hurt inside. Like when somebody is being a little mean to us, right? So we don't like the way they behave. And or sometimes, if we lose somebody that we love so much, maybe your friend is going away out of town. Okay, they're changing to another house, another school, something like that. So there are so many reasons that you might feel hurt or wounded, and you will be so sad. So your inside needs healing too. So sometimes over time, like, after few days, few weeks, you will automatically feel better. But there are also a few things that you can do to make your inside, make yourself heal better and faster. So the story that I'm going to read today is also something like this. Okay, somebody feels hurt and a group of friends try to make that person heal better and faster. Okay, so the book that I'm going to read to you today is Goob and his Grandpa. And this is a book which is part of a collection called The 7 Habits of Happy Kids. Nice, no? So the collection's name is The 7 Habits of Happy Kids, and there are 7 books in this collection, each explaining one habit. And this Goob and his Grandpa, this is one among them. This is one of those 7. So it is written by Sean Covey and illustrated by Stacy Curtis, and is published by Simon and Schuster. Okay, so Goob is a bear. So Goob bear with his family and his other animal friends. So, his friends include a rabbit, a porcupine, a skunk, a mouse, a few squirrels. So all these people, they live in a beautiful place called Seven Oaks Village. Look how beautiful and pleasant this place is. There are mountains, there are lakes, there are a lot of trees. So it's such a beautiful and a pleasant place called Seven Oaks Village. And all these friends, so they're all little children, so they're little kids. So they go to school and do other things together. So this story is about the Goob bear and his relationship with his grandpa. So going into the story, Goob bear and his grandpa did everything together. They collected bugs at Fish Eye Lake. They went on long hikes in the far north woods, and they climbed trees and they ate honey out of beehives. Bears love honey, So, like, we go to these kind of beautiful places for vacation, But when you live there already, obviously you do a lot of outdoor things, right? Like, going to the lake, going for a hike and doing all these things. So Goob also loved doing all these outdoor things along with his grandpa. And they also loved to wrestle on their living room floor. I love you, little Gooberhead, Grandpa would say. I love you too, Grandpa, Goob would answer. You're my best friend. See, Goob and his grandpa, they are wrestling in the middle of the house, in their living room. So Goob is really close with his grandpa. And on one Monday morning, Goob didn't show up at school. He did not come to school that day. Miss Hoot, who is the teacher. So Miss Hoot is an owl and she is the teacher at school. So she said to all his friends that, class, I'm really sorry to tell you that Goob's grandpa died yesterday. Right? So Goob's grandpa, he passed away. He died yesterday. Goob won't be coming to school this week. Obviously, he'll be so sad, he'll be mourning. So he won't be coming this week. Please try to cheer him up. At times like this, you really need your friends. So this is Goob's desk and he is not there at school today, and all his friends, they feel so sad for him. So what are they going to do? Let's see. So at recess, which is at break time, right? Recess. So the gang got together. And what did they do? That stinks, said Lily the skunk. I'll bet Goob misses him so much, right? Because he really loved his grandpa. I think we should go see him, said Pokey the porcupine. I don't know if he'll want to see anyone right now, said Sophie the squirrel. He must be mourning now. Right? So all the friends, they got together at outside the class and they're all discussing about Goob. So Sammy the squirrel, so he said, well, what would you want if your grandpa died? And the tag-along Ally the mouse, she said, I would want my friends to be with me. So what did they decide? So they all decided, okay, maybe Goob needs his friends at this time. So after school that day, everyone showed up at Goob's house. He was sitting in his backyard feeling sad. So, hi Goob, said Lily. We came to see you. Right? So Goob is sitting at his home in the backyard and he's feeling so sad. The friends came, they have visited him, and then Pokey the porcupine said, we're really sad about your grandpa Goob. He was really a great guy. And Goob said, yeah, thanks Pokey. I am sad too. I don't know if I'll ever be happy again. If you are sad, then we are going to be sad with you, said Jumper. So they all huddled around Goob. So they all wanted to share his sadness. So they all wanted to show that they care for him. Right? So they all huddled around Goob and they were all sad together for a long time. Like this. So they were all just there for him, beside him. They didn't do anything, they didn't say anything. They were just with him. And when it was time to go home, so when the friends had to leave, Goob felt a little better. It's like he felt a bit better when, after all the time when they were all together, so he felt a little better. So on the next day, what his friends did were, everyone, they got together to make a plan. So they know that Goob needed friends, correct? So they knew it. So each day after school, one of them would visit Goob, right? So they all got together and they planned, right? So okay, every day, let us take turns in visiting him throughout this week. And on Tuesday, Sammy and Sophie, so these two squirrels, they are siblings, brother and sister. So they both together, they showed up with their walking sticks. And what did they do? they took Goob for a long hike in the far north woods. "So that was wonderful," said Sophie. "And it was fun too," Goob said. He said, "Grandpa loved to walk in the woods." So he was reminded of those wonderful times he used to go on a long walk with his grandpa. And on Wednesday, Pokey visited, and Pokey took Goob to the Fish Eye Lake to catch bugs. And on Thursday, Tagalong Ali and Lily, they visited Goob and they went to collect honey from the beehives. See, Lily is a bit scared, she was climbing up the trees with Goob and she was a bit scared that the bees might sting. But Tagalong Ali, who was happily standing at the bottom, at below, so she felt, the bees were so cute. She felt, oh, they're so cute. So on Thursday, these two came and visited Goob. On Friday, Jumper, the rabbit, so he visited Goob, and at home, what did they do? They decided to have a wrestling match. Of course, it was not so fun for Jumper because he's a rabbit and he's so tiny, But Goob had so much fun. He squished Jumper to the ground because he is so huge. He's a bear. So he was happy. He was really happy, and that made Jumper happy because that's all they wanted. They wanted to make Goob happy. So they had a nice time. It was a fun time. The entire week got over. So on Saturday, all the other friends, all of them again, they visited together. So they all came to visit Goob again. And Sophie said, "We brought you something." And what was it? So they all had baked a beautiful cake together. So Lily said, "It's a honey chocolate cake. And we made it ourselves. Don't worry, we followed the recipe this time." So Goob smiled. Goob was so happy that his friends were doing so many things to, cheer him up. So he said, "That's my favorite, honey chocolate cake." Right? So after they had all this, and Tagalong Ali, the mouse, she said, "I made you a card too." Ali opened up the card and read it out loud. "Dear Goob, I'm so sad your grandpa died. He was your best friend. Now me and Jumper and Pokey and Vivi and Sophie and Sammy will be your best friends forever. I love you, Ali." So the mouse was so cute and she had written a beautiful card for Goob. So she read it to Goob. Everybody listened what was in the card. So after the card was read, Jumper, the rabbit, he started crying and Goob gave him a hug. He said, "Thanks, Tagalong," said Goob. "That means everything to me. And thanks for being my friends, you guys." He hugged his friends and he was so happy that he had such lovely friends. So he said, "I'm going to miss my grandpa, yes, but I don't feel so sad anymore." Right? So yes, of course nobody is going to replace Goob's grandpa, but he doesn't have to be sad all the time because he knows that there are a lot of other people around him who care for him and who spend such wonderful time with him as well. No, children? So this is what makes, people happy. So the author of this book, so he reminds us that, when he had a loss in his family, so he was also thinking that, maybe spending some time alone was all that he needed. But surprisingly, what happened? He enjoyed, and what helped him the most was the time that he spent with his family and friends. So we all get so busy, we have a lot of work, this, that. But among all this, what do we have to do? we have to take some time to spend with our family and friends, okay, with all the people that we love. Because whatever you do, you might go on a vacation, you might play something, you might just sit and talk with each other. So whatever you do, after a period of time, after some time, when you think about it, more than what you did, what makes you more happy is, what makes a beautiful memory is with whom you did it. Right? So whenever you think of something, you're like, wow, yeah, we used to play this, and I used to play with these friends, these people, and we used to have a fun time. It is like that. So with whom you do that, with whom you spend time, so that matters a lot. Correct? So however busy we are, however we are, doing so many other things and all that, we should take some time to spend these wonderful moments with the people we love. It could be our family, like, our grandparents, our relatives, our friends. And we should ensure that we care for people and we be with them in both good and the bad times. See, in this story, how Goob's friends, they actually visited him the first day and they didn't do much. They didn't say anything, they didn't fix anything. But they showed him that they care for him and they were with him when he needed them the most. Right? And that made Goob feel a lot better. No, children? So this is what. So these kind of nice relationships and these wonderful times that we spend with each other, so these definitely help us heal from a lot of hurt and wounds and difficult times. Okay? So will you also do that? I hope so. And I hope you enjoyed the story. So I will meet you with another wonderful story the next time. Alright? Bye bye.